You are driving home. You are doing exactly what everyone else on the road is doing. And then the red and blue lights flash behind you. The officer walks up to your window and says, "Do you know why I stopped you?" And here's the thing. You have absolutely no idea. But he does. And what he found during that stop can escalate from a simple ticket to a search of your entire vehicle in under 60 seconds. Today, I am breaking down 5 critical mistakes that make you a target for traffic enforcement. These are mistakes that turn a routine drive into a roadside investigation. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to drive in a way that gives officers zero legal reason to ever pull you over. Here is what most drivers do not understand. A traffic stop is not just a ticket. Once that officer has you pulled over, he can observe everything in plain view. He can ask questions. He can request a search. And under Terry versus Ohio, he does not need much. Just reasonable suspicion. That is it. A 2023 California Department of Justice report confirmed that equipment violations and registration issues alone accounted for a massive portion of pretextual stop justifications across the state. This is happening right now, every single day, to drivers just like you who had no idea they were giving law enforcement a reason to stop them. So let us fix that. Here are the 5 things that separate invisible drivers from the ones who get pulled over constantly. Number 1. Driving with any visible equipment violation. You are on the highway. You are doing the speed limit. Clean record. Perfect driver. But your right tail light is out. You pass a state trooper. 2 miles later, lights. You are thinking, I was not speeding. What did I do? That tail light is your problem. Under Terry versus Ohio, an officer needs only reasonable suspicion to initiate a stop. An equipment violation gives him that instantly. It does not matter that the light just went out last week. It does not matter that you plan to fix it this weekend. The moment you pass that officer, you have handed him legal justification to pull you over. Here is why this is so dangerous. Once you are stopped, that officer is not just writing you a ticket. Traffic stop training teaches officers to use that window of time. While you are searching for your registration, he is looking inside your car. He is watching your movements. He is observing everything in plain view. A broken tail light opened that door. The courts back this up every single time. Equipment violation stops survive court challenges because they are objective. Either the light works or it does not. There is no gray area. The penalty for a basic equipment violation varies by state, but you are looking at fines anywhere from $100 to $500 for the ticket alone. But that is the minimum. If the officer observes anything else during that stop, and they often do, the consequences escalate fast. A single equipment violation stop that uncovers an outstanding warrant turns into an arrest on the spot. The real cost is not the fine. It is what that stop gives the officer permission to do. And here is something that catches drivers off guard. In most states, equipment violations are considered moving violations. They go on your driving record. They raise your insurance rates. 3 violations in a set period can trigger a license suspension in states like California and Texas. What started as a burned-out tail light is now a cascading set of consequences, all because you handed an officer a reason to stop you. Here is what you do. Walk around your vehicle once a week. Every single week. Check every light. Headlights, taillights, brake lights, turn signals, license plate light. Check your windshield for cracks. If something is broken, fix it immediately. Do not wait. Do not plan to do it next weekend. Do it now. When your vehicle has 0 equipment violations, officers have no objective reason to stop you. No violation equals no stop. A vehicle with working lights and proper equipment is legally invisible for pretextual stops. That is your first layer of protection. Number 2. Driving in ways that create reasonable suspicion of impairment or criminal activity. Picture this. It is late. You are tired. You drift over the lane marker. You correct back. Drift again. You are not drunk. You are just exhausted. But to the officer trailing behind you, those deviations look identical to impaired driving. He hits the lights. During the stop, he asks where you are coming from. He is watching your eyes. He is smelling your breath. He is running a full impairment assessment, all because your tired driving triggered his suspicion. You might think minor weaving is normal. Everyone does it. But here's what shocked me when I researched this. Courts consistently hold that erratic driving creates reasonable suspicion even without a specific traffic code violation. Weaving within your lane, driving significantly under the speed limit, sudden braking. All of it can justify a stop. The case law is clear. State versus Stiles established that driving patterns alone, without any equipment or speed violation, give an officer everything he needs to pull you over legally. And here's where it gets serious. Modern patrol cars have rear-facing cameras. Body cam footage captures your driving pattern for 30 seconds before the stop even begins. That footage shows your lane position, your speed, your brake patterns. If your driving looks erratic on video, you have created probable cause that is documented and time-stamped. An officer does not even need to remember it perfectly. The footage does that for him. You might think this only matters if you have been drinking. It does not. Exhaustion, distraction, even just an unfamiliar road layout can create the same driving patterns that trigger an impairment investigation. And once that investigation starts, the officer runs field sobriety tests. He checks your pupils. He asks questions designed to determine your mental state. Even if you pass every single test, the stop has already happened. The time is already spent. And if you are found to be impaired, whether by alcohol, medication, or anything else, you are looking at potential felony charges in most states. License suspension of 1 year or more. Fines exceeding $10,000 when you factor in legal fees, court costs, and mandatory classes. And in some states, jail time on a first offense. The solution is straightforward, but it requires discipline. Drive smoothly. Stay in the center of your lane. Maintain consistent speed that matches the flow of traffic without exceeding the limit. On highways, use cruise control. Signal every lane change at least 100 feet in advance. And here is the part most drivers get wrong. When an officer pulls up behind you, do not panic. Do not tap your brakes. Do not check your mirrors constantly. Continue driving exactly as you were. Your calm, consistent pattern gives him nothing to articulate, nothing to write in his report, nothing to justify a stop. Number 3. Any issue with your license plate display, visibility, or compliance. You bought a decorative license plate frame at the dealership. Looks great on your car, but it covers a 1/4 inch of the state name at the top of your plate. You pass highway patrol. 60 seconds later, lights. The officer walks up and says, "Your license plate frame is obstructing state identification." That is a vehicle code violation. You are thinking, it is barely covering anything. It does not matter. He has probable cause. The stop is legal. Here is what the law actually says. California Vehicle Code Section 5021 requires plates to be mounted securely, clearly visible, and with all characters legible from 50 feet. Any cover that obscures any part of that plate violates this code. Texas requires front and rear plates, both horizontal, both completely unobstructed. These are not suggestions. These are enforceable laws. And in State versus Marrero, an Arizona court upheld a traffic stop based solely on a perceived plate violation, even when the officer's understanding of the specific violation was not entirely accurate. The court ruled that as long as there is an objective basis for suspicion, the stop is justified. This one is particularly dangerous because of how easily it is documented. Body cameras capture your plate from 30 feet back during the officer's approach. The video shows exactly what justified the stop, and officers are specifically trained to use plate violations as the foundation for pretextual stops because they are visible from a distance. An officer can identify the violation while still in his patrol car, giving him time to run your plate, check for warrants, and decide whether to initiate contact before you even know he is there. A plate violation fine can range from $150 to $400 depending on your state. But again, that is just the ticket. The real risk is what that stop opens the door to. Your plates must comply with every requirement in your state's vehicle code, front and rear if your state requires it, mounted at the correct height, completely visible with zero obstructions, no tinted covers, no frames that obscure any text, not the numbers, not the county name, not the state name, not the registration sticker. If you have a decorative frame, measure it. If it covers anything, remove it today. If you have a license plate cover, even a clear one, check your state law. Many states ban all covers regardless of transparency. And here is a detail that matters more than the fine itself. Rodriguez versus the United States established time limits on how long an officer can detain you during a traffic stop. But if he identifies a plate violation, that clock resets. He now has independent justification to continue the stop, ask additional questions, and in many circumstances, request consent to search your vehicle. A plate violation does not just cost you a ticket. It opens a window of legal exposure that a fully compliant plate closes entirely. When your plate is fully visible and compliant from 100 feet back, you have eliminated one of the most common reasons officers choose to stop a vehicle. That is 3 critical mistakes down. Each one gives an officer a different legal pathway to your window. But the next 2 mistakes are where I see the most arrests actually happen, because they do not just get you stopped, they get you selected. Number 4. Positioning yourself as the most visible or fastest vehicle in a group. You are on the highway. The posted limit is 65. Traffic is flowing at 73. You are in the left lane, passing everyone. You are the fastest car on the road. A trooper is monitoring from an overpass with radar. He sees 6 vehicles, all exceeding the speed limit. He picks you. Why? You are the lead vehicle. You are the most visible. You are the easiest target to pursue safely and document cleanly. After the stop, you argue that everyone else was speeding too. The officer responds, I observed your vehicle traveling at the highest speed in the enforcement zone. That is the end of the argument. Here is what most drivers do not understand about how enforcement actually works. Officers can only stop one vehicle at a time. When multiple vehicles are violating simultaneously, they do not just pick randomly. They select based on visibility, speed differential, and tactical positioning. And courts have consistently held that other people speeding is not a defense. The stop is valid as long as you committed the violation. It does not matter that 5 other cars were doing the same thing. Radar records lock in your exact speed. Video shows your position relative to traffic. The evidence proves you were the fastest, most visible vehicle in the enforcement zone, and that documentation is airtight. Highway patrol training specifically covers what they call the lead vehicle principle. The vehicle at the front of a speeding group is almost always the enforcement target because it is the cleanest to document and the safest to pursue. A speeding ticket in most states runs $200 to $500 for the first offense. But here is where it compounds. Every speeding ticket goes on your driving record. Insurance companies check that record at renewal. A single speeding ticket can raise your premiums by 20 to 25%, and that increase follows you for 3 to 5 years depending on your state. Repeat offenses or excessive speed, typically 20 or more miles per hour over the posted limit, can trigger reckless driving charges. In most states, reckless driving is a misdemeanor. In Virginia, it is always a criminal offense regardless of speed, and in some circumstances, it can be charged as a felony. We are talking potential jail time, a permanent criminal record, and consequences that follow you far beyond the road. Your strategy here is simple, but requires awareness. Stay in the right lane unless you are actively passing. When you pass, return to the right immediately. Match the speed of traffic flow, but do not be the fastest vehicle visible. Position yourself in the middle of any group of vehicles, never at the front, never isolated. If traffic is going 5 over, stay with the pack, but do not lead it. Let someone else occupy that visible position. When you are surrounded by other vehicles moving at the same speed, you do not meet an officer's selection criteria. You become unremarkable. That is exactly where you want to be. Now here is where everything comes together, and where it gets the most dangerous. Points 1 through 4 are each individual violation. Each one is a single legal opening. But number 5 is different. Number 5 is where multiple violations get discovered at once. And that changes everything. Number 5, driving a vehicle that signals "investigate me" through its appearance alone. Your car runs. It gets you where you need to go, but the paint is oxidized. There is a dented bumper. You have a temporary registration taped to your window. There are air fresheners hanging from your rearview mirror. You pass an officer on patrol. He notices the appearance. He runs your plate. He discovers your registration expired 2 months ago. He initiates the stop. You are thinking, how did he even know to look? Your vehicle's appearance created investigative interest. The expired registration gave him legal cause. And now you are pulled over, exposed to everything that comes with it. Here is what makes this the most dangerous mistake on this list. An officer cannot legally stop you just because your car is dirty, but appearance creates interest, and that interest leads to closer inspection. During that inspection, they find legitimate violations, expired registration, equipment failures, obscured plates. Each one of those is a separate probable cause. A 2023 California DOJ report found that neglected vehicle appearance was consistently correlated with the discovery of multiple compliance failures during stops. Officers are not guessing. They are pattern matching. Police training explicitly covers vehicles associated with higher risk of criminal activity. Heavily modified vehicles, temporary tags, excessive bumper stickers, items hanging from mirrors, which, by the way, are actually illegal in many states because they obstruct the driver's vision. These are not violations themselves, but they are taught as indicators that merit closer inspection. The consequences here compound faster than any other mistake on this list. If an officer discovers expired registration, that is a misdemeanor in most states. Fines range from $300 to $1,000. If he also finds equipment violations during the same stop, those stack. Each violation is a separate charge. And if during that investigatory contact he observes anything else, contraband in plain view, expired insurance, outstanding warrants from that plate run, you are now facing consequences that have nothing to do with how your car looks. The Supreme Court ruled in Wren versus United States that an officer's true motivation for a stop does not matter as long as probable cause exists. That means even if the real reason he looked at your car was because it looked neglected, if he finds a legitimate violation during that contact, the stop and everything that follows is legally valid. This is how a dirty car becomes a life-changing legal event. The fix is maintenance, and it starts this weekend. Keep your vehicle's exterior clean. Wash it regularly. Remove anything hanging from your rearview mirror. Keep your current registration displayed properly, not taped into your window. Fix body damage when you can. Remove bumper stickers, especially anything controversial or attention-grabbing. Your goal is a clean, well-maintained vehicle that looks like it belongs to someone who handles their responsibilities. When your vehicle does not signal investigative interest, officers allocate their attention elsewhere. You become invisible. Let us recap the 5 mistakes that are making you a target right now. Number 1. Equipment violations. A single burned-out light gives an officer legal justification to pull you over and everything that comes with it. Number 2. Erratic driving patterns. Weaving, inconsistent speed, nervous braking. All of it looks like impairment on body cam footage and gives an officer reasonable suspicion. Number 3. License plate non-compliance. A frame, a cover, anything obscuring your plate is probable cause that officers are specifically trained to look for. Number 4. Traffic flow positioning. Being the fastest or most visible vehicle in a group makes you the enforcement priority. Blend in. Number 5. Vehicle appearance. A neglected vehicle triggers investigative interest that leads directly to the discovery of other violations you did not even know you had. Any one of these mistakes can turn a normal drive into a roadside investigation. And once that investigation starts, what happens next is out of your hands. The best protection is never getting stopped in the first place. This weekend, do one thing. Walk around your vehicle. Check every light. Check your plates. Check your registration. Remove anything hanging from your mirror. Wash your car. Then practice your driving. Smooth lane changes, consistent speed, smart positioning. Drive like every officer on the road is watching you. Because with modern patrol cameras and automatic plate readers, they might be. Do not let ignorance of these rules put you at risk. Subscribe to Guns Law Guide so you never miss a video that could keep you legal and protected. I break down the laws and enforcement tactics that affect you every single week, so you can drive with confidence and stay out of trouble. Next video, I am covering the 4 phrases every driver needs memorized for the moment you are already at a traffic stop and how most people invoke their rights completely wrong. You do not want to miss that one.